Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart. Welcome to my Master Your Magnetism podcast, where I help you create the life and relationship you've always wanted. I'm streaming this episode live on YouTube today. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else, and you'd like to see a video of this episode, that'll be the first link in the description or episode details. And hello to everyone who's joining me live. Let me know any questions you have in the chat, and I'll get to as many as I can at the end. So in my last live stream, I shared 3 things you should never do if a man is hot and cold or distant or inconsistent or maybe breadcrumbing you. And in this one, I wanted to dive a little deeper into one of those mistakes because it's so important. I see women doing this all the time. And I actually did a poll in the community tab on my YouTube channel yesterday. And this is the #1 thing that people said they wanted to learn more about. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this big mistake with you today. But before I do that, I wanted to share something that's so important. Women who first learn about feminine energy or leaning back, or when they first find my videos here on YouTube, are usually dealing with a man who falls into one of 2 categories. And it's really important to know what kind of man you're working with here in order to know what to do. So the first category of men that women are dealing with usually when they come to learn about leaning back or feminine energy is a man who's generally a good guy. He's interested in her. Maybe he was pursuing her strongly at the beginning, but her own anxiety or sense of urgency, or maybe trust issues or patterns of masculine energy that were modeled to her, maybe in her family of origin, start to show up, and she starts pushing him away without realizing it. And he might not even be able to put his finger on it, but he just feels the desire to come closer to her and pursue her kind of diminishing. So if you're with a man who falls into this first category where he's a good guy and he was interested in the beginning, but your anxiety or your patterns of leaning forward and trying to make something happen have pushed him away, that's when leaning back is fantastic. If you can just lean back physically next time you're with him, verbally, mentally, or even emotionally, by not thinking about him so much and obsessing about him unless he's right in front of you, that can work wonders. It's like magic. You'll feel him start to come closer and closer. I see it in the comment sections of some of my videos every day. It's just been life-changing for women who are with the kind of men who fall into this first category. It might feel a little unnatural at first, but it'll just become like second nature with practice. It feels amazing to the both of them, and things just start flowing really easily. The problem happens when women are dealing with a man who falls into this second category. And that's a man who's really not all that interested or willing or able to be a good partner to her. He might be interested enough to respond to her and take everything she has to offer. He might be interested enough to sleep with you, but he's not interested enough to pursue you consistently for the kind of relationship you want. We've all been stuck on men like this before, right? I know I certainly have. So if you're experiencing this, let me know in the comments section which category of a man you're dealing with here. That'll be helpful for everyone to see. So maybe this guy's a little emotionally unavailable. Maybe he's a little avoidant. And the mistake that women make is they try to use feminine energy or use leaning back as a tactic to try to make this kind of category 2 man more interested, or try to make him be less hot and cold, or make him chase her, or make him commit. Basically, if you're trying to make a man do anything or make something happen in this relationship, you're in your masculine energy. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're coming from that place where you're attached to the outcome and you're trying to make this man feel a certain way about you or step up and do something different than he's already doing, you're in your masculine energy. You might physically be leaning back. You might be ignoring his text messages. But if that's just a game or a strategy to try to make this man who falls into this second category do something, you're coming from your masculine energy. That's never going to work for you. You might get a man like that to step up and chase you for a little while. But if he's a category 2 kind of man, once he gets the sense that he has you, he's going to just back off all over again and lose interest. And that's where women can really get stuck on men like this for years or even decades. I had a woman in my last live stream say that she's been dealing with a man like this for 10 years. I call him the always something man, where he might like you, he might have a good time with you, he'll take everything you have to give him, but there always seems to be something that's preventing him from putting both feet in and prioritizing you and pursuing you for the kind of relationship you want. So you'll never get permanent results from a man who falls into this second category by leaning back or using feminine energy as a tactic to try to make him chase you, which means you're actually in your masculine energy. So feminine energy is a state of mind. It's about not being attached to the outcome of any interaction you have with a man, right? So you can actually lean forward and initiate coming from a feminine energy place. I really want people to get out of this superficial understanding where feminine energy means leaning back, masculine energy means leaning forward. It's really about where you're coming from. Actually, I have a whole video on my channel called 4 Ways to Initiate with a Man while staying in your feminine energy. So if you're not attached to the outcome, if you're not trying to make something happen, you can go ahead and experiment with this relationship dynamic a little bit. The reason to lean back is really because it doesn't feel good to chase a man who's not pursuing you, because you are genuinely, authentically getting bored and losing interest in any man who's breadcrumbing you or not available for the kind of relationship you want. If you can get there where you genuinely hook up your feelings of attraction and chemistry with a man's masculine action towards you to where you're not attracted to the second category of men anymore, you're only spending time with men in that first category, that will just change your life. You're going to get everything you want in your love life, and it's going to be really easy. So that's kind of an overview of what I wanted to share today. I'd love to check in with the chat and see if anyone has any questions. Hi to Helen, Coralie, Lady Queen. Let's see. She says, I've definitely been mirroring lately, so I'm present and listening. Yes, I'd love to hear from everyone. Which category of men are you dealing with here? I mean, we've all been stuck on the category 2 kind of man. There's no judgment here, but it's so important to really become aware of this, because this kind of man can keep you stuck on him for months or, like I mentioned, years or decades. And the problem happens when you're mirroring his behavior and not moving forward with your life. I hear from women all the time who say, I haven't seen this guy in 6 months or more, and I'm mirroring his behavior. But she's doing that and just kind of waiting for him endlessly. So feminine energy is never about waiting for a man who's not pursuing you, ever. I really want to make that clear. So hi to Tina and Anne. Anne says she's dealing with a category 2 kind of man. My last live stream should be really helpful for anyone who's dealing with this category 2 kind of person. It's called His Silence is a Decision, and 3 things you should never do if a man is hot and cold or distant. That was from a couple of weeks ago. I would highly recommend checking that out. So Cece says, I've been dealing with a always something man for 6 years. I'm finally seeing it with clarity. Thank you, Helena, for the insight. I have my life again. You're very welcome. I'm so happy to hear that. I would just love for women to give the category 1 type of man a chance and see if some, deeper chemistry can start to build. You don't want to go to following chemistry, following that superficial spark of attraction, if that's only hooked up with men who fall into this second category. Let me know if anyone has questions about that, because that's really, really important. How did you clear your love blocks? Josie asks. What a great question. I've been pretty open about the fact that I actually worked with my own therapist, my own counselor, a few months before I decided to go online. And I actually met my husband 24 hours after joining an online dating site, because I had done a lot of work on myself. So I worked with a counselor through a service called BetterHelp. It's an online counseling service. I have a link in the description or episode details. If anyone's curious about who I personally worked with, feel free to email me. But there's a link in there to BetterHelp. If anyone wants to start working with their own counselor, you can get a discount if you go through my specific invitation, the link that I have there. But he was really helpful. I had a lot of issues from childhood that kept me attracting and attracted to emotionally unavailable men. So absolutely, I had to work with someone and clear those out before I could make myself available to attract my amazing husband, who is such a category one kind of man. It's hard to put into words what a great partner he is. He's just incredible. And yeah, of course, sometimes my own patterns of masculine energy show up with him every once in a while. But guess what? That doesn't push him away, because he is fully committed. And that's what I want for everyone out there. So Celia asks, can you repeat what is mirroring? Yes, great question. This is kind of advanced. So if you didn't see my last live stream, you might want to go back and review it. Mirroring is when a guy is not coming towards you energetically, when he's not pursuing you. Mirroring would be you're also leaning back, right? You're not going to lean forward and text him and try and get his attention. You're not going to like send him a funny picture that made you think of him, or call him up and ask him where he's been. If, his energy isn't coming towards you, you're pulling your energy off of him and putting it on yourself and your own life where it belongs, which on the surface is fantastic. You want to do that. The problem happens is when you use this mirroring technique to try to make a man step up or be more interested in you, or try to make him commit or make him do anything. The only reason to mirror a man is because it simply doesn't feel good to throw your energy out towards a man who's not pursuing you. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a yes in the comment section, because I just want to make sure I'm being really clear here. Cora Lee says, category 1, I set a boundary. It opened up his eyes. He finally started to be more open and brought walls down. I'm so happy to hear that. I know you had a question about your guy in my last live stream. So I'm glad that speaking up and setting a boundary or making a request from your feminine energy really worked for you. With the right guy, you can't really scare him away like that. So I just had a few minutes. Thank you, everyone who's saying yes in the chat. This is so great. I just had a couple minutes. I wanted to come on and do a quick live stream on this topic. So just to recap, you need to understand the kind of guy that you're with. If you're with a category 1 man who's interested and he's pursuing you, that's fantastic. Go ahead and lean back when you feel that anxiety coming up, and you will feel him start to come towards you. If you're with a category 2 type of man who's breadcrumbing you, who isn't showing you with his consistent actions that he's motivated to get into a relationship with you, no amount of leaning back or mirroring his behavior is going to turn him into a category 1 kind of man. That's so important. Let me just repeat that. No amount of feminine energy or leaning back or mirroring a man who falls into the second category is going to magically transform him into this guy who's all of a sudden interested and ready to put both feet in and commit to you. I just want everyone to really, really understand that. So you're very welcome. I am loving these comments and questions. Stephanie says, I recently was dating a man for 5 months. He decided to friend zone. He was consistent, dating and loving, then it all stopped abruptly. I'm trying my best to move on and remove the energy. Yeah, if he told you he only wants to be friends or that's all he's available for, it's important to believe him. Similarly, if a man says he's not ready for a relationship, or he drops off abruptly like this, you want to actually see that as a good thing, because he's showing you right away that he's not the right one for you. You don't have to waste 5, 6, 7 more months or years on him. He's showing you right away that he's not this category 1 type of man. So I just see one more question. How can we distinguish categories? What a great question. So is his energy coming towards you consistently? Everyone let me know in the chat. Is a man's energy coming towards you consistently? Is he showing you with his consistent actions over time that he wants to be that good partner to you, that he's motivated to get into a relationship? And how do you feel when you're with him? How do you feel about yourself in his presence? Not what are your feelings for him, how gorgeous and successful and funny and witty he is. That's not what we're talking about. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel that you can be yourself and open up and you can just relax, and he's crazy about you, his energy's coming towards you, he doesn't want to change a single thing about you? That's fantastic. So you want to watch what a man does and see how that makes you feel. Something I say all the time is you can save yourself from so much confusion in dating just by simply becoming an observer of what a man does. So if he's hot and cold or breadcrumbing you, if he only shows up on your phone a couple times a month and the relationship isn't progressing, that's a category 2 kind of man. So did that clarify it? I hope that was helpful, Celia. Marisol says, believe what he says. Words are cheap without action. Ladies, absolutely. Keywords over time, Lady Queen says. Yes, absolutely. And I see one more comment. It's so hard to let go when you are attached. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. I have podcast episodes on that. If anyone's interested, let me know in the comments after the replay of this post, and I'll direct you to some videos and podcast episodes I have for if you're feeling strongly attached to a man who just isn't showing up for you consistently. It is hard to let go, but I think one of the worst things you can do is just stay stuck and wait around for a man who's not showing you, like I said, with his consistent actions over time, that you're the one he wants to be with. It's so important. So I think that's all I see. Oh, one more question. He's been chasing me. Now his hot and cold, he copies what I say or do. Yeah, that would be a turnoff to me. If a man, I got a question or a comment in the comment sections of another video yesterday from someone who said that a guy just says that he doesn't text first. He just doesn't do that. To me, it's a turnoff if a man's not in his empowered masculine energy and knows what he wants and is pursuing that in any area of life, but especially in his love life. So if he's hot and cold, of course, you can always ask for clarity. I talked about this in my last live stream. If this is someone you've been dating for a while, you can say something like, hey, I've noticed a little distance between the two of us lately. Is there something I should know? You can do that one time and just see what he says. But if a man is hot and cold, typically, and he falls into this second category, again, there's nothing you can do. There's no amount of feminine energy you can apply that's going to magically turn him into a category 1 type of man. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, good. I'm glad it was. So how do I get over someone that I'm still in love with? What a great question, Helen. I have a podcast episode on my Master Your Magnetism podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts called 3 Steps to Get Over Someone or Move On After a Breakup. It will be so helpful. If you want to remind me, I'll include a link to that in the comments after this post. It was with Donna Barnes, a breakup recovery coach who I just actually interviewed again yesterday on my podcast. If you aren't following me on my podcast, you're missing all of my new content that's not posted anywhere else 99.9% of the time. So make sure to go follow me over there. Let me see if I have a banner for that. It's called Master Your Magnetism. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And the specific episode I would recommend for you or anyone who's in that situation is called 3 Steps to Move On from Someone or Heal After a Breakup. Something like that. Somewhere in the middle of all of my episodes. I have about 60 right now. So, I see some more questions coming through. What if a man is avoidant? Yes, his energy comes towards you consistently unless something bothers him and he shuts down. Suzanne, is he a category 1 type of man or category 2? Like, is he showing you with his words and more importantly, his actions that he wants to be that good partner to you? If he is, then I have a great video on my YouTube channel with Valerie Green, another coach, called How to Inspire a Man to Meet Your Needs If He Has an Avoidant Attachment Style. That will be so helpful if you're actually in a relationship with someone who's a good partner but has this attachment style going on. Again, remind me afterwards. I can include a link to that. If you just, ask me for that video link, that will help you out. It's like an hour-long video interview on exactly what to do and say. So what can be considered consistently? Celia, I'd love to hear, what is the man in question doing here? I mean, there's no one size fits all advice, but is he, like, for example, by the end of the date, or within a couple days, asking you on the next date and then asking you on the next date? Is the relationship progressing to where you're seeing him, maybe just on the weekends to then sometimes during the week? Or is he just a once a month kind of guy? So if you're only seeing him once or twice a month and it's been going on like that for 6 months, you can probably just expect more of the same from him if the relationship's not progressing. So you want to see progression consistently would be, do you hear from him just about every day or every couple days? Is he making plans to see you again? Or does he just want to be a text buddy? Every situation is different. That's where getting your personal questions answered can help a lot. And if you'd like to get your personal questions answered by my top coaches, you can visit feminineenchantment.com. feminineenchantment.com. And I believe that's on sale for $1 right now. You can try it out and get your questions answered by my top coaches. If you're not comfortable putting more out here on YouTube, I totally understand that. Okay. Let's see, the podcast link. Yes. After it posts, leave a comment in the comment sections and I will give you all the links you want to podcast episodes and things like that. Okay. What if a man starts off as category 1, drops to category 2? I would believe the worst of the two. So if he was maybe pursuing you a little bit in the beginning, but then he dropped off and became a breadcrumber or a hot and cold guy, personally, I would just let him go and move on. I would accept that he's showing you who he is. He's showing you his intentions and interest level. Now, if it was your patterns of urgency or anxiety or masculine energy pushing him away, again, that's where leaning back can be helpful. But if he's just going back and forth, hot and cold, all on his own, drop that guy and move on. I would personally never want to be involved with a man like that, right? Maricel says, if you feel confused, it's a red flag. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Everyone wants the link on how to get over a man you're still in love with. Okay, I will include that in the description or episode details after this post. It's going to take me a little while to find it. Okay, let's see. He keeps asking for space every time I reach out, keeps on asking for more space, not ready to talk. Yeah, I would be bored with that. I would drop that guy and move on. If a man, every time you get too close, he asks for space and he needs to back off, that's a category 2 man. Nothing you do is going to change him into a guy who doesn't need tons of space, right? He says he just continues to push things and say, talk later. Yeah, I would lose interest in that personally. So I see a couple more questions. I get asked on dates, calls, and texts coming in until the date. Then the guy always vanishes. Second guy, great communicator until I say answering his questions feels like a telephone call conversation. Like I said, if a guy disappears within the first few weeks or first few dates, he's gone because he's supposed to be gone. You want to see that as a good thing. She says, suddenly he's gone. It feels frustrating. I would see that as a good thing because you don't want to waste 6 months or more with a category 2 kind of man. You want to just let them fade away. I know it can be easy to want to keep some of these connections active and alive when you feel a man slipping through your fingers, but you could do that, you're just kicking the can down the road and delaying what's truly meant for you. So see it as a good thing. I mean, obviously feel your frustration. You want to feel your feelings, but if a man pulls away like that, or he shows you who he is, I would be grateful, because if you can embody this feeling of gratitude in advance when the wrong men show you that they're the wrong men by doing something like that, or pulling away or dropping off or becoming hot and cold, you want to be grateful that they're showing you as soon as possible so you can move through those men and on to the next better man or the next better match for you without all this emotional charge around it. Cece says, let them go. It's easier the more that you do it. Absolutely. It's the emotional charge of feeling frustrated and triggered that keeps you attracting that same kind of man over and over. If anyone has questions about that, let me know. Someone says, if they want you, they will fight for you. Absolutely. Betty says, I love your advice. Following you from Kenya. Amazing. Thank you so much. Marisol says, don't waste your time. Exactly. Okay, this was great. I just love connecting with everyone. Again, you can go to feminineenchantment.com if you want to get your personal questions answered by my top coaches. I also have a free gift that's in the description of this video. It's called 3 Keys to Attract the Man You Want. And let's see, what else do I have for you? I'm also back on Instagram after a long time of not being on there. There are still a lot of fake accounts that use my name and photos to try to scam people out of monies, but there is one real account, and that's me. This one right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it on the screen. Helena Hart Coaching. I will include a link to that in the description. That'll be the last link in the episode details or the description of this video. Helena Hart coaching on Instagram. Or if you want to type it in, it's instagram.com/Helena Hart coaching. That is my only real account. And just a reminder that I will never personally reach out to you on social media. If someone is doing that, it's most likely a fake account. So just make sure you're following this one. The more followers I can get over there, the more it'll help me try to get rid of some of these fake accounts. So this was amazing, everyone. Make sure to grab your free gift in the description of this video. That's 3 keys to attract the man you want. That will help you whether you're single and wanting to attract that category 1 kind of man, or if you're with a man already and you want to stop pushing him away and really lean back to see if this is a man who could truly be right for you. So thank you so much again, everyone, for watching live. Make sure you're following my podcast, Master Your Magnetism, so you don't miss any new episodes. That's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else where you can listen to podcasts. I love you all, and I hope to see you again soon.